Using the conveniences of modern transport, we journeyed across Manitoba towards the south. Off in the distance is Riding Mountain National Park. We passed through Dauphin and entered the park. We were on a little bit of a pilgrimage, as even though both of us were from Manitoba, neither of us had ever visited Grey Owl's cabin. Grey Owl conjures up mixed feelings for me. Archie Belaney, as was his real name, was an Englishman who disguised himself as an Indigenous man for several years. But he is also a source of inspiration as a fur trapper who turned into a conservationist. He had a life full of complicated relationships and lived in Riding Mountain for about 6 months before moving to Prince Albert National Park. Come along with us as we travel to his cabin. We entered the forest and were greeted by a multitude of wildflowers lining the trail. The forest was mixed with deciduous and coniferous trees, and a fairly strong breeze rattled the aspen leaves. Northern pearly-eyed butterflies were a common sight as we walked, along with many other butterflies, like white admirals and swallowtails. Wildflowers in a variety of colors were visible, like these purple streamside fleabane and yellow black-eyed Susans. The trail was pretty well maintained and had some hills which fortunately weren't too steep. The sandiness of the area reminded me a little of an area to the south.
This almost reminds me of Spruce Woods.
The late afternoon light shone through the trees, causing us to pause and admire.
Tuckered. Starting off tired. Not sure this was the best idea. Driving all the way from Setting Lake down to Riding Mountain.
It took how long?
To start a 8-hour drive, I guess.
Yeah.
And to start a backcountry camping hike at 5 p.m. 7 kilometers, I believe, is the total trail length. So hopefully it goes fast.
So far it feels very, very slow.
Right now it feels slow, yeah.
But
hopefully we've got past a kilometer.
I think we have, yeah.
I hope so.
Probably at about 2 kilometers right now.
Hopefully.
I'm thinking.
Tiny northern bedstraw flowers lined the trail.
So, we didn't catch it on film, but we just had a minor bear encounter. Just over on the crest of the hill. Not this hill, but something like it. Just saw the tail end of a bear heading into the brush. And yeah, so we kept making some noise as we passed by. Had everything ready, but didn't need it, which is good.
This was not our only bear encounter, as we would find out later.
The outhouse looks like. Oh, a spot where you can sit down. I think we'll just be continuing on. Cowan Lake. So ours is that way. Tomorrow we'll be going that way.
My eyes were dazzled by the pink color of the paintbrushes and the orange of the singular wood lily. Finally, we neared our site for the night. I should mention that Riding Mountain is rumored to have one of the largest numbers of black bears, and many of those are of a lighter brown color.
It's CL2.
CL2?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You sure?
Quite sure.
So we're the only ones here anyway.
Yeah, right now, unless somebody shows up. That is pretty cute. The park's beaver. Site 2 is up that way. Beer box is over there. Outhouse is just over there. Lyndon's getting attacked.
Give me Give it to me, Christ's sakes.
Our spot was up a slight incline, and through the trees, Lake Cowan was visible. The lake was definitely not accessible from the campsites. Still, it was beautiful. We spent some more time exploring the area, and CL2 definitely had the best view of the lake.
Yeah, completely accidental. Yeah. But no, like I said, from the photos, they just look like absolute crap. It was like,
apparently there's one this side, right?
yeah,
And then
three over there.
And this is a loop for ours.
Yeah, picked a better spot. They got the coolest,
But again, like, I don't see any flattened grass here.
yeah, they got the coolest thingy. So.
Yeah, they got the coolest, definitely.
Let's see if the water, I assume it works. Well, you could wash off though, if you really insisted. But it hasn't run in a long time. There we go. I won't waste the water.
I decided to flip through the guest book and add our own record.
"2017. Trail crew to Grey Owl's cabin we go. Thank you for the bathroom and toilet paper." Nice stroll in the woods. Somebody did 20k. Biked in from Whirlpool. Hot sunny day. Very beautiful hike.
It was fun reading the entries. Someone was lucky to spot swans on the lake.
That's what I put. So just hiked in for the night. Already heard loons on the lake. And saw a bear butt on the trail. Great hike. Lots of mosquitoes and only one tick so far. Donna and Lyndon. And there's my little bear butt. There we are. Nice little wildflowers.
We set up our tent and prepared a modest dehydrated meal. I also brought some fruit juice.
Just want to suddenly make life less complicated here.
Gina drinks with me. Tropical fruit juice.
And I just want to put
Just
it
to
away.
refresh.
Just let that put away. Yeah, what a failure, eh?
Hmm?
It's like, didn't work at all down here. It probably would work better up here, but it'd be so hard to access,
Yeah.
you know? But it's just I'm glad I didn't bring this to Hanro or Japan, because that is not going to work. It's going to be back to the camera
Well,
backpacks.
and after you said you could strap mine onto the back of yours, it's like, it's a good thing you didn't, because then you would have been really uncomfortable the whole
Well, that's
hike.
it. It's just, it seemed like, wow, that's really starting to get cold.
It is.
Like, I guess that's the one thing about the wind coming off the lake. Or is it coming this way? It's coming this way, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure where the wind.
I don't know, it's all
Generally.
over the place. That's the thing. That was the thing about that stool, though. Is it meant to be a shelf? My idea was to put stuff on top and then put my feet under the thing. I just don't really like. Tomorrow maybe I'll do it. But tonight,
I could see you bumping it and
yeah,
then
I know.
and then
it's
knocking
another,
everything over in the middle of the night.
Well, it's another thing to worry about. Like, you know, the only place that seems to be ideal is Whitehorse or someplace like that in the mountains, where they don't have such accommodations. You know, where it's real backcountry.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, extra weight.
Yeah.
As well as that axe.
Live and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this place is like, yeah, there's no need to chop anything down.
Well,
but you don't want to chop everything down because it looks so pristine.
Well, the thing is about these places is we don't come back to the same place. We want to explore and see new places. So you just don't know what to expect.
Yeah, no, it's true.
As we settled down for the night, I was a little distraught by the several wood ticks that I had picked up along the way.
This is a wood tick. It's outside of your tent, thank goodness. But I had 3 of them. We're kind of getting attached. Fortunately, they take a long time to actually do anything.
The range of wood ticks is expanding northwards, along with Lyme disease.
They take about 48 to 72 hours in order to actually transmit Lyme disease. I'm not saying that this one actually has Lyme disease, but it is a potential.
Now, tick-free, we settle down to sleep. Lying in my sleeping bag, I listened to something rustling in the forest. I tried to put it out of my mind, telling myself it was just a squirrel. But the rustling and digging and twigs snapping kept getting louder and closer. Finally, I called out, "Who's there?" And it snapped Lyndon into action. We opened the tent and saw this.
Yo, move on.
Come on, get out here.
That's right. Move on.
Come on.
It's okay.
Yeah,
go
not
home.
kidding. Get out of here. Get! Now!
I feel like sometimes the human reaction is not correct. Most bears, as far as I know, don't know English.
Come on.
I decided to try chuffing back at him. The bear fortunately moved on their way, but it took a while to settle back down. The night still had some more to share. Morning arrived, and we awoke to the sound of birdsong. I took a moment to reflect on the previous night.
Yeah, just from last night. So there's the tent. And it's just a short walk away in through the bushes, but I am pretty sure it was on that tree right there. Looking directly at us. We had no more issues last night, and I actually did sleep pretty well, so that was good. Do a quick shot of myself, so survived the night, and it's quite a chilly morning, but all good. We're slowly getting ready to move and maybe make some breakfast. Well, yeah, definitely make some breakfast.
There was a mist on the lake, which was just visible through the trees. Unfortunately, my lens had fogged up and made this look even more foggy than it should. After breakfast, we packed up and headed out. Today we would finally see Grey Owl's cabin, something that both of us had wanted to see for many years. Clouds of mosquitoes swarmed us as we went, but a couple of layers of bug spray seemed to help a bit. I also made sure to get a good amount on my pants and shoes, as I didn't want to find any more ticks.
And we're back at the junction.
I must reiterate that there were lots of mosquitoes, and they had a bad habit of flying everywhere, even into one's mouth.
Jeez. So, 5.3 kilometer hike to the cabin. Let's get started.
Lyndon had recovered from the mosquito and paused to film some fireweed. This part of the trail was similar, and wound around some marshes and up and down some small hills. Just as we started to wonder if we would ever arrive, we realized we were there.
Friendly. Hi. Okay, thanks.
We were glad to set our packs down and headed inside to look around. There was a book full of quotes, newspaper clippings, and letters from planning and his life at the cabin. Grey Owl lived here for only 6 months with Anahiro and his 2 beavers, Rawhide and Jelly Roll, and the cabin was specially designed to allow the beavers access to and from the cabin, like a dog door. Unfortunately, the lake receded, and the site was not good enough to continue living here. Grey Owl made the decision to move to Prince Albert National Park, along with the beavers and his wife, Anahiro. I looked through the window, imagining how the view might have changed since then. And I found the trapdoor that allowed the beavers to enter and exit the cabin. They also had their own special area to den in. On the wall were some photos of Grey Owl, him nursing an elk calf, and with the beavers that he raised and lived with. This would have been his office space, where he could write his stories. Warmth would have radiated from the fireplace in the next room. And this would have been a westward view of the forest. It would have been relaxing to look up from writing and see the trees and maybe birds in it. I returned to ask Lyndon about his impressions of the cabin.
Joe, what's your thoughts?
It's amazingly similar to the one that I see in Prince Albert.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's really fun to be here.
Yeah.
See one of these places, even though he was only here for 4 months.
Yeah.
It's great to see it. It's not an embellishment, is it? It's very rustic.
Mm-hmm.
You
No,
know, the
very
guy was
simple.
famous going all over the world, but he was very comfortable with his lifestyle, it was obvious. Even with a couple pet beavers.
Mm-hmm.
It was, he was not one for fame and fortune per se, and I think that was probably why he went to Prince Albert. He was trying to get away from all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to.
He was ahead of his time, and as an environmentalist,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
These are likely
Yeah,
raccoon skulls, given the short face and long canine teeth. I realized this and chuckled.
Yeah.
That's in the dark. In this place.
We went back outside to look at the exterior of the cabin.
Pardon the bags that have been abandoned out there. Yeah, very cozy. Cozy looking cabin.
I read that the cabin had been moved, so it was not overhanging the lake anymore. For being over 100 years old, it's still in very good shape, although it was heavily restored in 1972. There was a spot where you could build a fire and have some lunch.
Yeah, no. It's good.
And of course, rustic homes have rustic facilities. I walked back to the cabin and took a moment to look over the small lake.
This is me sitting outside of Grey Hall's cabin.
Suddenly, I had no more words. Nothing profound came to mind. I swallowed the last of my energy bar and looked off at the trees across the lake. As I turned to collect my pack and start heading back, I noticed the swallow's mud nest high under the roof. It was a poignant note that long after Grey Owl's life in Riding Mountain, his legacy and efforts at conservation are still having an impact. The hike back was uneventful, but full of reflection and thoughts of how life had changed since then. We also discussed future plans to visit Grey Owl's other cabin in Prince Albert. As always, thanks for watching.
Way too up close. Much too close. Let's see if I can fix this out here.